the 5 greatest martial art books I've ever read. If you're a martial artist, if you want to be a martial artist, if you're trying to go professional and pro, or if you're trying to learn this for self-defense, this is a video you must watch. Here, I'm going to go over and tell you the 5 greatest martial art books, and obviously like their summary, what's it about and whatnot too. And it's going to be a great video. People don't read books anymore, that's so much better now, because now this stuff, these books and stuff are like hidden gems, and obviously you can find them online for free. That's the point. But these are hidden gems. No one reads anymore, so you're getting free secrets that I learned from hundreds of years of studying martial arts, learning stuff, and now you're getting it for free. So it's going to be a good video. Also, real quick, if you can't find these books online, you can buy them. Obviously, that's first off. One of them you can't really buy. It's like sold out, and it's a very rare book. And I was going to say that all these books are in my course, actually. And my course is only $10, so don't complain. If you want to get all these books for free on my course and read them whenever you want, go in the description of this video. I have a link to my course. It's only $10 a month. Anyone can afford it. I made it cheap. Anyone can afford it. But you're getting hundreds of videos, but including these 5 books will be in the course you can read if you cannot find these books anywhere. So that's like, these are great books. So we're going to get right in the video. I got a list so I don't forget any other books. So the first one is a book by the title of The Tao of Gung Fu by Bruce Lee. Now, people don't understand, but Bruce Lee, this is the book Bruce Lee actually only ever wrote. Like, this is the book that he actually wrote and took pictures for and actually published and made it himself in the 60s, early 60s in Seattle. So people think the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, that's a good book. That's a good book. But Bruce Lee did not physically write that book. It's a compilation of his notes, of his journals, of his ideas. He didn't actually write this, but the Tao of Gung Fu is something that Bruce Lee himself actually wrote and put on paper. It's a very good book. So this book was made before he got famous, before the fame in the 60s in Seattle, Oakland area. Before he got, I think he might have been in Kato when he wrote this book. But before the 70s, before he got big, before Jeet Kune Do and all that stuff, the book's pretty much on his knowledge and understanding on Gung Fu, aka Kung Fu. Back in the 60s, they call it Gung Fu because that's how it's pronounced in China, Gung Fu. But later, when it got anglicized, we just put the K in there, so Kung Fu. So I'll call it Gung Fu for this video just because that's what they called it back then in the 60s. So the book's about his studies of different Kung Fu styles, his make of it, and the philosophy behind it. Because back then, this is before he started training other arts like boxing, like fencing, like looking at the Filipino martial arts, before all that. This is when he just strictly was really learning Kung Fu, Gung Fu systems. So if you didn't know this, just a quick history. When Bruce Lee came to America, he had only been trained in Gung Fu and certain systems like Wing Chun was the main one. Wing Chun, he studied some toilet fought, some Southern Mantis, like White Eyebrow. He knew some other systems as well, other styles, but it was all Kung Fu. And so when he came to America, he continued that practice. He continued it, learning by himself, learning with other masters on the West Coast, as well as learning under, I'm going to remember his name, one second. Fook Young. There we go. I had to think about it. He also learned that Fook Young he's like a martial art master, and he was over that side of town, the West Coast, when Bruce was in the 60s. And so Fook Young knew a lot of Kung Fu styles. And so Bruce was able to keep up his Wing Chun and Kung Fu training over there by people like him. And so that's when he wrote this book. So it's pretty much on several different several different Kung Fu styles. A lot of it is Wing Chun and some like the Wing Chun stance and like the ideas, but more in depth, it's really talking about the concepts and principles of these systems and why they work, why they're effective, being able to flow. He talks a good bit about philosophy. It's a very good book, especially about philosophy. He talks about the philosophy of the arts, why and how, Chinese martial arts kind of have a philosophical approach on life and how that makes sense and how they add it to their martial art. He talks about the yin yang. He talks about a lot of good stuff. It's a very good book. Attribute training and stuff. So it's a very good book. Very, very good one. You should definitely go check it out. It's called The Dao of Gung Fu. You can look it up, or you can go to my course. I got it in there already. Either one. Bam. The second one. This second book is awesome, and it's very hard to find. It's very hard to find. You might not be able to find it, but it's called Bruce Lee Between Wing Chun and Jeet Kune Do. awesome book. Jesse Glover. I very, very briefly got to train with one of Jesse Glover's friends, and Jesse Glover's is awesome. He's just awesome martial artist, very smart. His stuff is great. Non-classical Gung Fu is very, very genius, good stuff. And so Jesse Glover wrote this book pretty much talking about Bruce Lee, talking about Bruce Lee's martial art training, Bruce Lee's real fights, and who was Bruce Lee, and also just the reality of martial arts. It's a very, very, very good book. I think he made this either right before Bruce Lee died or right after Bruce Lee died. So it's an older book, but that's why it's very hard to find. He made the books himself. Jesse Glover made the books himself. He wrote it out, and then he actually like sewed the books together himself. So that's why it's very rare. You might not find it. So yet again, it's in my course. It's a very good book. He talks about a lot of Bruce Lee's actual fights that he was there and saw, because Jesse Glover was Bruce Lee's best friend, as well as trained with Bruce Lee. So he's his best friend. So he talks about many Bruce Lee fights he saw, how Bruce Lee really moved in real life, how Bruce Lee made the Wing Chun work. A lot of guys don't understand why they think Wing Chun's fake or whatever, but he used it in real life and talked about how it worked, how the sticking and trapping worked, how the chi style worked. Bruce Lee's experiences in Hong Kong. It's a very good book. Very, very good book. If you do Kung Fu, if you do Wing Chun, that's a must read. That's not even, you're going to stop this video, you're going to find the book. You're going to go on the course and read it right now. It's a must read if you do Kung Fu at all. A very, very awesome book. Like definitely, probably my favorite book, honestly, out of all this list. Next, the Tao of Jeet Kune Do. Obviously, it's a go-to book. This is like what got me in all this, really. I got this book a long time ago. You see it's a little worn. You might see that let's see if you can see some underlines. I cannot tell if you can see any. I've underlined this book a lot, but you might not. Let me see if I can even look. This is a great book. It's pretty much a compilation of Bruce Lee's notes. Wow. I say it's underlined and then I can't find any underlines. That's crazy. Here we go. Well, I didn't mess up the book much, but I would take like asterisks and mark certain spots that I found interesting, but it's a very good book. It's about Bruce Lee's notes and a compilation of what Bruce Lee thought about martial arts, what his philosophy is of Jeet Kune Do. It's a very good book. Very, very good book. Oh, real quick, if you wanted to go back, the Dao, if you needed to know how to spell Dao, it's like this, T-A-O. So like in the first book, when I say the Dao of Gung Fu, that's how you spell it, it's T-A-O. Dao is Chinese, is a Chinese word for way. So it's saying the way of Jeet Kune Do. The first book, the Dao of Gung Fu, the way of Gung Fu, that's the whole point. But the Tao of Jeet Kune Do is the staple of martial arts. Every martial artist heard about this book or has it because it's a great book on philosophy of Jeet Kune Do, on Bruce Lee's actual fighting tactics he uses, and also just the arts he studied. I mean, in here you're going to find stuff about grappling, boxing, kicking, pressure points, eye attacks. You're going to find a lot of stuff in the book. Hair pulling, hair biting. It's a very good book, very in-depth. But like this is a good book if you are a martial artist and you want to learn. If you're already a martial artist, either intermediate or new, and you want to find stuff to train, stuff to learn, or you want to learn about certain concepts like how to get speed, how to get power, how to work on your footwork. Like this is a very just in-depth book on the martial arts and how to get better. It's a very good book. The next one we got, The Art of Expressing the Human Body. This is a book if you're a martial artist or you're advanced, or if you're trying to go pro, trying to go in fights. This is a book on how to work out like a martial artist. It's called The Art of Expressing the Human Body, and Bruce Lee himself wrote this. So it's literally, Bruce, this is also his note. So yes and no, he wrote this, but it's about all of Bruce Lee's workouts, his training, his physical regimen, his diet. This is the best book you need to read on Bruce Lee's diets and Bruce Lee's training, because it's his notes and stuff on how he trained, but it's under the guise of like, I think John Little, did he write? I think John Little wrote this, which is great. He's a great author and Bruce Lee historian, traveled all around the world to understand how Bruce Lee worked and everything about Bruce Lee. He compiled his notes, put it in the book, and also wrote about it. So he explains Bruce Lee's whole process from starting to work out to getting better, getting stronger, and his thought process on working out, how you should train, how your diet should be, how to get speed and power, how to build for that explosiveness, that strength. He goes over all that. I mean, it's very good, but like that's like if you work out, this is the book you need to read. Like if you work out at all, The Art of Expressing the Human Body. Go read it. You can buy it, or it's in the course as well. I bought the audio version because it's a great book just to hear. It's very, yeah, that's a top notch. It's a great book. So go look it up. That's like, if you work out, if you want to work out, if you want to get stronger, punch faster, you got to read that. You got to. The last book of the series is called The Rat, Fighting Combat Secrets. So it's another book I have. Bam. This book is about none other than one of the greats, Paul Vunak. If you didn't know, this is Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee, another Bruce Lee's friends is Dan Asano. Bruce Lee and Dan Asano are very close, and Dan Asano trained for Bruce Lee for like a decade. And so Dan Asano taught this guy. So Paul Vunak trained with Dan Asano from the 80s since today. Like from the 80s, so way back, you know, when all this stuff was fresh. He trained with him at a young age, like, you know, teenager in middle school, high school. Paul Vunak trained with Dan Asano for decades. And Paul Vunak got so good that Navy SEALs, SEAL Team 6, look this up, this is real, I'm not making this up, look it up, the SEAL Team 6 called Vunak and said, hey, we need you to train our guys, Navy SEALs, in hand-to-hand combat. So Paul Vunak went out and taught the guys Jeet Kune Do. He taught the guys the best Jeet Kune Do techniques, and of course Jeet Kune Do, as you know, it's like it's philosophy, but Jeet Kune Do has techniques from every system and every style. That's the point, right? That's kind of the point. But he taught them the best Jeet Kune Do techniques about, you know, hitting the eyes, the knee, certain like hit the throat, straight blasts, biting. He taught them all that stuff, just a very quick best stuff to the Navy SEALs so they can learn how to fight in real life fast. And hopefully what they would do, they would learn this stuff, they would, because they know, this is like, they actually have to make sure this works. So then they would go to bars and actually get in fights. Paul Vunak and the Navy SEALs would actually get in fights to show this works and that they're actually fighting. So they really know before they go out that this stuff works. I've been in 10 fights. Yes, like they would literally, when they learn this stuff, like this is Paul Vunak's job, was to go train these guys. So literally for weeks after that, they would literally just go to bars, go to the streets, literally just get in fights. And it'd be bloody, crazy stories, just to show that it works and to really get that experience of like real street fighting, not UFC, not boxing, no, like biting the guy's ear off, guys in the eyes, like real street fighting to show that this stuff works. Because that's kind of what this book's about, is real self-defense, real street fighting, and techniques and tactics to use. So obviously, a lot of this is just Jeet Kune Do stuff, but Paul Vunak was a street fighter. Like I said, I told you all this stuff, and he has a lot of crazy experiences. I mean, crazy fights, multiple guys, weapons, and he talks about all that. But really, the best techniques to use in self-defense or in a street fight, like hitting the eyes, straight blasts, all this stuff. It's a very good book. It's not long, it's not big, but this is a very, very good book. You can buy it anywhere, obviously, go on the course as well. But yeah, it's a really good book. It's just short. It's short and sweet about just stuff you need to know. Good pictures as well on how to fight. What's the idea? The fact that you don't want to trade in a fight. I don't want to square up to you and exchange blows. No, I want to hit you. I want to get in and out. I don't want to trade, because the problem is that if the guy's bigger and stronger, he's going to win that trade. That if I block and he hits me, I'm going to get hurt. So it's a lot of good stuff like that, because the whole point of street fighting is you don't know you got to fight. And the guy can be bigger and stronger than you. So you need stuff that works against the guy that's bigger and stronger and angrier. That's real technique. And so he goes over all that. So please read those books. Please read one of them. But all those books were awesome. Like I'm not wasting your time. Like those are good books. If you're a martial artist, you should be reading one of those books right now after this video. Like I said, they're all in the course as well. And if you want to learn more stuff like this, I have the course, $10 a month or whatever. And lastly, if you want to level up, if you want to live the life you've always wanted to live and pursue your dreams, I also have a self-improvement course. Down the course is like $20. And that's really it. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe and keep training. Peace. See you guys next video.